Welcome to this NBA Finals podcast edition. This is the first podcast I've actually ever talked sports on. So really kind of excited about it. If you know me, you know that I love basketball. I've been playing probably since I was about 13 years old. Yeah, going into grade 7. Going into grade 7 is when I started playing basketball. And then that time, I became a Warriors fan. I've got my man Chris Webber. I got this jersey, I think when I was in grade 9, and I still have it, and it still somehow fits me. I was a big kid back then. I'm like 6'7" now, and I think when I was going into grade 7, I was 6'3". So I've only grown about like 4 inches since grade 7. I was always tall, so been holding this jersey for a long time. And the topic today of this podcast is Golden State versus Toronto Raptors. My view of it is kind of similar to David versus Goliath, the biblical historic story about the underdog, right? The massive underdog overcoming this gigantic obstacle, A being Goliath, B being Golden State. Funny, they both start with G. And really how the underdog has won and is winning, and the similar natures with the main characters, Kawhi and David, being humble. You know, people kind of joke about how quiet Kawhi is, quiet Kawhi they call him, and just like his very similar temperament to who became later King David. So, I mean, if you're a basketball fan, this season's been no short of news and drama. LeBron getting traded from Cleveland to the Lakers. You've got now KD is injured, Kevin Durant. He's still questionable if he's going to come back in these playoffs for these finals. I think he will, and I think that he may be the X factor. I was talking to a guy I play basketball with today, my friend Matthew, and he's saying, yeah, Golden State can definitely come back and win 3 in a row, which I agree. They can, but will they? No, they won't. And I think there's a few reasons why. Is Toronto is just so freaking hungry and focused. Like, they've never been in this situation before. And the city and the country, like, I'm from Canada, and I'm just already so happy to see what basketball has done for Canada, or actually what Canada's done with basketball this season, especially this postseason. And people forget, Toronto had the second best team and record in the league this year. They had a home court advantage against Golden State, which is very rare. Golden State has won 3 championships, 2015, I think 17 and 18 when they went back to back. So they've won 3 out of the last 4 rings, basically. They lost 2016, was it 2016, I think? Yeah, to the Cavs when LeBron went to Cleveland. So I think a lot of people either love or hate Golden State because they are kind of like the favorites. But with David and Goliath, you know, people just counted David out. And that's what people were like going into this series. People were like, oh, well, good for Toronto for making it to the finals, but it's over before game 1. Like, people are already saying how this is going to be a three-peat for the Warriors, and they're probably, if not going to get swept, they'll maybe win 1 game, and then they'll go down from there. But Toronto came out and just like shocked the world basically in game 1, winning they had like decently game 1, and then they lost game 2 because Golden State was kind of like, woken up from that first loss. And then what did Toronto do? They went down to Golden State at the Oracle, like one of the hardest gyms to play in, and they won 2 games. and probably, I think, definitely, the last games ever played in that arena, because as of this year, Golden State's arena is going to be moved. So that is pretty massive. That Golden State lost the last game on their floor ever to the Raptors, 2 games in a row. And then there was that drama with the Golden State Warriors head coach, not head coach, partial owner, investor, like billionaire, pushed Kyle Lowry. He's got ejected from that game, and then he's been banned from any Warriors game for the next year, and was fined $500,000. $500,000 fine. That's crazy. So this series has been full of all these side stories. Klay Thompson was out for Game 3, and Kevin Durant is still day to day. But the real I think distinction between the two teams is you've got Draymond Green, the most notorious trash-talking, loud, brash, arrogant motherfucker, in the NBA, I would say. That guy, I actually admit I hate that. Draymond Green, I think, is just such a bitch, and I don't think he's a good player. I think you put him on any other team with not 4 other All-Stars. Like, look at it. They've got 4 other All-Stars and MVPs. They've got Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, the 2 best shooters ever, basically. You've got Klay Thompson, the other best shooting three-point shooter ever. And you've got Cousins, who I think is most overrated, but he's still an all-star. That guy sucks, in my opinion. He's fat, he's slow, he can't jump. He's just a thug. He's a thug. I don't like him at all. But so you've got those 4 players, and then you have Draymond Green, another all-star. That's a stacked lineup. Now let's compare that to Toronto. But to finish my point, you take Draymond Green away from all those MVP players, all-stars, he doesn't do anything on any other team, I say. He can rebound, he can push the ball, that's it. And he's the Goliath. He's the big talker. He's the big boastful, like loud, brash athlete. I love how Drake has just been like trash talking him like crazy and having an Instagram war. You should check out Drake's. Drake's obviously the big Toronto fan. Courtside tickets. Check out Drake's Instagram account. He's got some pretty funny memes of Draymond. So that's the Warriors. And then here you have this polite, quiet, conservative, real Canadian team. That's what Canadians are known for. And Kawhi Leonard is just like class character. You have Lowry, solid role player. Marc Gasol, and then Pascal from Africa, who's like a brand new player. Pascal was starting to become a priest a couple years ago. Like, he literally he's pretty new to playing basketball, like he's got a pretty rough basketball background, meaning that he's not like coming from the NCAA or a big name in the NBA. He's kind of like squeaked in, but he was becoming a priest in Africa. And then he got into basketball, and obviously he's done well with it. So you've got these men of virtue, basically, is what I'm saying. Humble, hungry, quiet, grateful to be there, not showing off, not talking trash, just going in, putting in the work. And they're the ones destroying the Warriors. They're just trashing Goliath. It's like David's got that slingshot, and he's just striking down these beasts, these bawling beasts. And I really think that you have this total contrasting in teams and styles. So it's interesting. So I'm calling it Golden State will win in the next game, and then Toronto will win Game 6 and become the first ever Canadian championship NBA team franchise in history. And the crazy thing is, I remember when I was a kid, I was probably 13 years old, 14 years old. growing up in Canada. And I remember the Vancouver Grizzlies, Big Country Reeves, and then they had Abdul Rahif, some other guy after that. And then the Toronto Raptors had Damon Stoudemire. Damon Stoudemire was like the point guard, Mighty Mouse they called him. He had a tattoo of Mighty Mouse because he's like this little tiny, dynamic, powerful player. And just seeing the franchise grow along with myself, going from being a 13-year-old kid, falling in love with basketball. I went to go see a game in Vancouver, a couple games in Vancouver I remember. The Grizzlies. Unfortunately, that franchise didn't make it, but Toronto is just becoming like a mecca for basketball. You've got guys like Andrew Wiggins from Toronto, all-star in the NBA now. Steve Nash, NBA great, from Victoria, St. Michael's High School. I almost went to that high school actually, but it was too expensive. My family couldn't afford it. It's a private Catholic high school in Victoria. It's probably a good thing I didn't go there. Wasn't meant to be, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. David versus Goliath. The Warriors are going down, getting struck with that little stone to the head. Go Canada, go Raptors. Jurassic Park will be buzzing, and all my friends back in Canada, I know a lot of my friends have been going to watch the Raptors games. You guys are lucky, man. I wish I could be there with you guys. So that's my thoughts on the NBA first podcast episode about sports. I'm going to start mixing it up a bit more. I've got some ideas of some new solo shows to talk about current events. Going to get a little bit more current with what's going on in the world, I think, and just giving a commentary on my take on things. So we'll be doing some more of these solo episodes. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know who's going to win in the comments. Cheers.